Today we're ranking the NFC North's starting QBs from worst to first. Let's Talk Lions. Welcome back to an all-new episode of Let's Talk Lions. Thank you for liking this video and for being a part of the community that we're building here for Detroit Lions fans. Now, if the NFL news and the month of June had a baby, that would end up coming out like the dead marshes from the Two Towers. Just dead. Nothing happening as far as the eye can see. Elves, orcs, men littered in the dirty marshes. So I just wanted to take a hot minute and rank the starting QBs in the NFC North from last to first place. Keep in mind, I will be leaving off this list Jordan Love, Tim Boyle, and Justin Fields. And if you're sitting there saying, well, why? Reason is, none of those three guys have seen any actual playing time, season playing time. And I don't consider them the starting quarterbacks until Justin Fields comes out and proves that he is the starting QB and Chicago says that's our guy. He is not the starting QB in my eyes, and I do not include him in this list. So without any further ado, let's break it down. Starting at the bottom at number 5, I have Nick Foles. Now look, Foles is an interesting character. In fact, he kind of reminds me of Case Keenum. He comes in the Super Bowl, saves Philadelphia's butt, he's the hero, and then he's sought after a little bit more. He comes in the next year, saves Carson Wentz's butt again in the playoffs, and you kind of see this repetitive action in his career. He kind of has that glory year where people are like, oh my goodness, maybe he's really good. And then turns out he's just a pretty good backup. I'm not taking that Super Bowl away from him, but what I am saying is I think he's a good backup. He's a solid guy to have sitting on the bench in case your starter goes down. Looking at his stats, and specifically the race between him and Trubisky for the starting position last year, that was just a cluster. To me, he never came out. He never won that job. There wasn't a game where with Chicago, he showed up, he showed off, where he really proved himself to be starting quarterback caliber. I think he is a solid backup, and that's why I got him ranked as 5 in the NFC North. Coming in at number 4, we've got Andy Dalton. That's right, the Red Rocket. He was doomed to Cincinnati for far too many years, stripping away what I thought were some of the best years of his career. He has had ups and he has had many a down. When I look at Dalton, you see a guy who can get out there, who has what it takes to win, but he really is similar to the whole Nick Foles type of thing, a solid backup. You look at him in Dallas last year, nothing to show for. I think Andy Dalton's years, his best years, are behind him as a starting quarterback here in the NFL. Out of all the starting QBs in the NFL, I would place Dalton probably in the mid-20s. When I look at Dalton, he's pretty much in QB purgatory, where he's a great backup and has the qualities to be a starter, but teams are looking and they're saying, we want younger, your best years are behind you. He's basically a passenger on Oceanic 815, destined for the Swan Hatch, following John Locke, hitting 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42 every 108 minutes. Execute. If you haven't seen Lost, please go watch it. Coming in at number 3, I've got Jared Goff. That's right, I have Goff ahead of both Dalton and Foles. When looking at this list, he is the best starting quarterback between those three. Jared Goff actually has what it takes to be a starting QB. I really think he's proven it over the last couple of years. Now look, I am not going to sit here and defend him and say Goff is the man, but what I am going to say is I do see that he has struggled, that his numbers have declined over the last few seasons. However, a stat that I've talked about, I'm pretty sure was, I don't know if it was Tim Twentyman who said it, somebody came out and dropped this stat. Goff is one of 3, only one of 3 active starting QBs in the NFL to have thrown for 3,800 yards and 20 TDs in the last 4 seasons. That's a pretty great stat. And now look, I do know that when you look at his stats year after year after year, the yards have gone down. TDs have gone down. Interceptions are fluctuating. And so I do understand that Goff has been struggling, but I do think that he has a chance here in Detroit to revitalize his career, to prove that he is a number 1 overall pick and that he can lead the Lions to the NFC North. When I look at Foles, I look at Dalton, you look at Goff. Goff with this O-line has the best shot to be much better than people are giving him credit for. I think a lot of people are underrating Goff. Goff has absolutely struggled in these last few seasons, but now him coming to Detroit, he has a head coach who believes in him. He has a head coach who actually is going to be building the offense around him. The O-line is incredibly strong, top 5 in the NFL in my opinion, followed by excellent running backs, a phenomenal tight end with TJ Hawkinson. It's really the wide receiver core that is going to be the most interesting shakeout for Detroit. All of this placing Jared Goff at number 3. Coming in at number 2, I got Kirk Cousins. Look, Kirk Cousins, what do you want me to say? Like, the guy's an enigma, if I may say so. Look, I don't know what it is with this guy. Sometimes I flip on a Vikings game and Kirk Cousins blows my mind. He's calm, he's cool, he's collect. The accuracy is there. Primetime Kirk, where everybody's ripping him. He shows up, he makes the plays, he's hitting the wide receivers. It's all actually incredible. I watched some games with Kirk Cousins and I'm just blown away. And then, on the other hand, you could flip on a Vikings game and Kirk Cousins performs like that of Ricky Williams in Backyard Football on GameCube back in the mid-2000s. And you're like, why is this guy slotted at the QB position? It's just, he's really an enigma. I never know what to expect with him. The reason I am ranking him above Goff is because his performance compared to Goff's in the last 3 seasons, to me, is in fact better. The numbers are better. Everything about Kirk Cousins is operating a little bit more smoothly. Doesn't mean I would want him. In fact, I would choose Goff over Kirk because I think Goff with the right pieces can be better. However, for this ranking, I'm giving Kirk Cousins the number 2 slot. And coming in at number 1, it's Aaron Rodgers. And there's not much I want to say here because the guy's ruined roughly 16 years of my life, of your life, of Bears, Vikings, Lions fans' life. It's been too long. And yeah, he's number 1 in the NFC North because right now he's still technically a Packer, though I'm pretty sure everybody in the North Midwest is praying or hoping, believing that that man leaves and finds somewhere else to play or just doesn't play at all. I'm going to throw it out there. Aaron, if you didn't want to play, I'd be okay with that. I'd watch you do Jeopardy, though. With Rodgers potentially out of the picture, that opens up a lot. Does that mean that I think Kirk is number 1 in that case? I guess it technically does, but no, because it's Kirk Cousins still. So there you have it. Foles, Dalton, Goff, Cousins, and Rodgers. Again, I am not including Jordan Love, Justin Fields, or Tim Boyle in this yet. Because quite frankly, looking at those 3 guys who are not starters, not technically the starters, other team yet, I think Tim Boyle is the best. People are going to hate me for that one, but I don't care. I think Tim Boyle is the best of those 3. That's not coming from me as a Lions fan. Looking at Tim Boyle as a backup with the Packers, I think he could have been something, and they're gambling on Jordan Love. We'll have to see. That is my ranking from worst to first NFC North quarterbacks. What do you guys think? What is your ranking? Drop it in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let's have a little conversation, huh? Because it's June. There's nothing happening. The dead marsh is out here. Heads up, Ringwraith coming through. If you've seen the movie, because then that would make sense to you. So